And welcome back to Game 3 of G2 versus Origen, where Origen are currently sitting 0-2 down in what is an elimination best of one for them, Vedius.
Yeah, it's got to be a difficult position for Origen to be in. Not only have they been 3-0'd by G2 only last year in the finals of spring, but that last game should have been theirs. They were able to bounce back in a very convincing way. They found some extremely good mid-game team fights, and Frost was talking a lot about how Nukeduck and Upset were large contributors. I also want to talk about how Destiny has been landing so many great hooks onto so many crucial targets, catching Caps out of position multiple times, especially in the last game. OG are finding their rhythm and they're finding ways in which they can catch G2 off guard, but again, it still just wasn't quite enough. You can see they're getting closer, they're getting there, and in Game 3 is where they bounced back against Fnatic last time, so I imagine they're not going to give up, and we can already see some pretty big adaptations in the draft.
Yeah, the Kalista ban coming out from G2 instead of Origen because of that Aphelios removal from Origen means that OG now could still look for something like the set first up, the Pantheon available for them as well, and it's going to be set for Xerxes in the jungle, we expect.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be the priority pick for OG. Of course, it can be flexed around depending on what G2 go for, so Origen feel very comfortable with that as a blind pick. G2 so far this series have prioritized just securing a strong 2v2 in the bot lane, and it looks like they're just going to keep repeating that pattern by going for the Varus and getting themselves the Pantheon as well, so they can already go towards the strategy of investing towards the bot side of the map, but they haven't chosen to lock in the Thresh, which is a common pick that you will pair up with a champion like the Varus. The only reason why they might not have done this is because they want to consider the KêNH as an answer. If OG decide to go for something like a Misfortune or a Nautilus or a Thresh themselves, then I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the come out from G2.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It provides some safety to Caps when he doesn't have an escape himself, and makes it just a lot easier for G2 to survive in that bottom lane. Origen now looking alongside this Misfortune to see perhaps what they're going to pick in the bottom lane, and as you said, the Nautilus is their option, so Thresh or KêNH probably here for G2.
That's very much what I'm expecting. I think that the only other option that they go for is Leona, which I find very unlikely, but that's the KêNH that we were talking about. So this is actually a pretty strong 2v2 lane. Frost always does to talk about how this can actually be used to set up a lot of dives, because the KêNH can be used to reset tower aggro. When you pad that up with a Pantheon, if this was in the LPL, you'd almost expect a level 3 dive to come out from this trio, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see G2 send, again, resources towards the bot side of the map, which seems to be a trend of G2 so far in this series, and I'm curious as to how Origen will answer, because now their Azir has been taken off the board, so Nukeduck won't have that blind pick. It's something that he has prioritized so far in this series, and another target ban coming towards Alphari as well.
Yeah, getting rid of some of that strength in the top lane for Alphari. He has been one of the most consistent members for Origen across the course of this split, so no real surprise that G2 want to pinch his pools just a little bit. There's the Sylas getting taken away, and expect G2 to pick a safe, blind pickable top laner here. That's gives Perkz the final counter pick, and Aatrox is one of the safest blind pickable top laners there is, so that's going to be locked in for Wonder.
Yeah, it looks like that G2 are not going to give too much away. Of course, the Renekton is still up and available, and we know that Alphari loves to play it, so no surprise that he goes to that, and they get themselves the LeBlanc as well, so Origen actually going to look to split up the map a lot more. They're going to have a very strong matchup in terms of their mid-jungle duo, and I think that they could go for the Zilean again if G2 wanted to try and mitigate. Corki is the other safe option if they want it, along with the Zoe as well. I think that all three are pretty safe, but in terms of early priority, it's actually heavily in favor of G2. Their mid-jungle should in theory be much stronger in the early stages, but OG will be able to split up the map a lot more, and I really like this approach from OG, because I think that we've seen a lot of teamfight focus in games 1 and 2, and that hasn't resulted in winning games as of yet. So instead, let's now look to try and start attacking these side lanes. Let's instead try and gain some mid-prio and then use it to rotate around the sides. I think the only problem OG is going to find is that in the very early stages, because of Zoe's strong ability to push hard on a lot of these lanes, it's going to be difficult for the LeBlanc to match, and it's also going to be difficult to find that collapse with a set that just kind of wants to only run at you, and then unless he can close the gap, he's not going to be able to find an effective E. So I think Origen's strategy will be interesting in terms of how they actually get LeBlanc into a strong enough position where she can then move to a side lane and be a threat. Because Origen's whole game plan to try and bring themselves back into the series is definitely split up the map, attack the side lanes, and see if they can divide and conquer G2.
Well, we'll see if they're able to do it in this game. Game 2 was very close. Really just came down to one final team fight in that mid lane before G2 were able to get away with it yet again and run it down mid to take the win. So Origen have shown us some moments of brilliance. They've shown us some moments of greatness, but they haven't quite been able to pin G2 back. We'll see if they can do it here, because otherwise they are out of playoffs. And on to Summoner's Rift we go for what could be the final game of this series and the final game of Origen's Spring Split. No real surprises in level 1. Everyone seems to just be lining up along the middle of the map. And no deep wards, which is always very important, because last game, of course, we saw Jankos and Xerxes meet down towards the bottom lane very early on.
Yeah, I think, again, the bot lane will be a large focus, especially from the side of G2. And I think if Nukeduck can get out, he will want to do it as well. But OG actually have quite a few lanes that they can look to play around. I think that in terms of the top side, Alphari should have prio in this lane. And you would consider a 3 versus 1 dive against the Aatrox under the assumption that the LeBlanc can get prio in this 1v1. Now, there are ways in which she can do it. In terms of her early game trading, she is much stronger than the Zoe. The problem is Zoe can wave clear from such a safe distance away that it can be challenging for Nukeduck to utilize the actual strength of his champion, which is having strong 1v1 dueling capabilities, to give him the freedom to get prio in that lane and then rotate up towards top side. And also we see Zeus actually starting on the top side of the map. He's likely going to do a full clear on the top side, as we've often seen him do, and then path towards bot to try and mirror an answer. But Upset and Destiny are trying to fake a leash, so they want to indicate that Zeus is actually pathing up towards top and try and give some misinformation to the side of G2.
Hook's going to land onto Mickey in the bottom lane as Destiny is forced away. That's the Aftershock burnt on Destiny as well, so it makes it a little bit harder if Mickey and Caps decide to go for anything at level 2, because Destiny won't have the extra tankiness from that. But KêNH Varus doesn't really have kill threat at level 2 unless they can really lock you down and get that piercing arrow through the AD carry.
Yeah, I find that it's they get priority just because you can't really kill them or move them out of the way. They have such a long range and their poke is so obnoxious. And they're just so tanky and survivable. Survivable? I don't know if that's a word. But it's like very difficult to bully them and move them out the way. That's why you can see Destiny and Upset playing on the defense. They obviously got level 2 second, so they're going to have to concede that. But Alphari doing the exact opposite on the top side of the map, utilizing the strong early game presence of Renekton to be able to push Wonder underneath the tower. But he's not stacking up any waves just yet. He's really just trying to force these minions underneath the tower as quickly as possible, get that early level 3, and then look for a rotate back, as we actually see Jankos making his way towards the mid lane.
Yeah, seeing if we can get a gank off onto Nukeduck, hoping that Nukeduck will use the distortion forwards, because then, of course, Jankos could flash in, land the stun, and you can see if you can lock that champion down. Instead, he's coming down towards the bottom lane now. He's going to be spotted on a ward, and I don't believe they know Xerxes is here. They probably know he's in the area. Jankos actually building up his passive. Origen might be dived. Yeah, Jankos fully stacked now as G2 going to push in this next wave.
He's looking to set it up, but he's going to face check into Xerxes, who's here for the counter gank as well. TP available on Alphari.
Hook comes out onto Mickey. He uses the thick skin to take up a tower shot. Xerxes just going to be able to defend his bottom lane underneath the turret. But Upset is now going to be about 7 to 8 CS down. Destiny face checking. Jankos coming across. Destiny's going for this. He's landing the hook. As the exhaust comes down onto Upset, Mickey very low, uses the thick skin to survive. The facebreaker coming out as well as Jankos lands a lot of damage. Destiny's the first one to fall. And there, Xerxes going to flash away with a haymaker as well. Upset now off towards the top side of this. The piercing arrow doesn't land from Caps, but now he's very low, and Upset could look for the chase. There's a cleanse available for Upset if he wants. The smite comes down from Jankos, trying to get some extra levels, trying to get some extra health in his back pocket, but G2 will be able to walk away, and get out alive.
That looked like a very promising chase initially from Origen. Destiny soaked up a lot of the damage, but they just couldn't quite lock anyone down. And it comes back to what we were talking about, Medic. The survivability of this duo of Tahm Kench and Varus is just so obnoxious because of how much the Tahm Kench can tank up. You also have the shield blocking a lot of the damage from the Pantheon as well. And we can see here, Destiny, he's focusing and targeting down Mickey, but a great exhaust actually comes down to Upset to mitigate a lot of his damage. And now they turn their attention onto Jankos, but again, he's mitigating all this damage as OG is just forced to retreat. Good flash from Xerxes, but unfortunately it's just not quite enough damage. And this was almost a kill onto Caps as he oversteps underneath the tower, takes way more damage than he needed to, but it just wasn't quite enough from the side of Upset, and he wasn't confident enough to flash forward in the event that Jankos goes for the turn. So G2 now making their way back towards the bot lane. They really want to try and keep this pressure onto Upset and Destiny.
They're going to do it again. Destiny's going to step forward. It's Mickey tanking up the tower. Jankos coming in as well. Destiny, of course, no flash, but actually Caps took a tower shot there instead of Mickey. So I think Caps just ordered a little bit early, which means they have to call off that dive.
Yeah, Upset getting level 4 as well was definitely a scary point. An extra couple of stats in these early levels is extremely valuable. But we talked about how this Tahm Kench, Pantheon, Varus trio is actually very effective at diving towers, and they're already trying to take advantage of it very early on into the laning phase. But Upset and Destiny doing everything in their power to try and mitigate this pressure, doing what they can to survive. And while they are a little bit behind in this early game, it's definitely nothing that is going to run rampant or out of control. Alphari is still in a great position in the top side of the map, so he's what's helping keep the gold still very even in this game.
Yeah, CS lead for Alphari in the top side, as you say. Upset's actually been able to equalize that CS in the bottom lane, which makes it that means he's in a very good position as the AD carry. Jankos a level behind Xerxes because of all that ganking he has been doing on a ward here as well. So now Origen know they're a little bit safer in this bottom lane. Caps hasn't got flash. There's the Devour. Mickey, no flash on him either, but Tahm Kench is a lot harder to kill. And Xerxes walked over a ward in the Tribush so that they know the set is there. Nukeduck jumping forward. Perks misses the Sleepy Trouble Burp. And there is the chain. Nukeduck's going to get a lot of damage down. Didn't want to use the Ignite on Perks, but will force the Zoe out of lane.
Good punish there from Nukeduck. We got to see what can happen in this matchup. If the Zoe misses all of her abilities, then it's very easy for the LeBlanc to be able to chase down and threaten. Perks has now swapped over to the TP with the Unsealed Spellbook. That's the word. Now OG are looking for a dive. They want to try and get some control back over the map as they threaten Perks.
Perks has Cleanse as well here. There's the Sleepy Trouble Bubble Facebreaker coming out, but the Cleanse used on the Facebreaker means that he will fall. Good hook from Destiny, and great play from Origen to get a kill in the mid lane. Wild Ender was popped here, I believe, by Wonder in the top lane as Jankos is looking for the gank. Alphari's going to try and trade, sitting in the minions, looking for that Cold and Meek as Jankos now forced under the tower. Wonder's not in a good position because Nukeduck's on his way. Alphari with a great 2v1 play, and here comes Nukeduck looking for Wonder, flashing forward, can't quite land the damage. Alphari's now taking up the tower. There's the Ignite, and Jankos will tick away. Origen finding kills left, right, and center.
And one of the questions we had, Medic, was how is Origen going to open Nukeduck up to move around the rest of the map? By sending 4 people mid and killing Perks is exactly how they're going to do it. He roams up top, he helps Origen secure another kill, and now Mickey and Destiny are having a bit of a skirmish back and forth.
Sleepy Trouble was going to land. Mickey delayed Destiny for long enough. There's the Dredge line. Can Perks connect? Not quite, just short. And now Mickey's tanking up the tower. He's ignited and Destiny survives. Underneath the turret, puts up the white flag of surrender, but it was him outplaying G2 there.
He was just too tanky. He was too tanky. It wasn't enough for G2 to be able to chase that down. And a really good hook onto the turret as well to just get him out of range of the Zoe Q. Origen having a commanding performance in this early game, and it was because they pushed in bot wave that Origen could rotate their duo up towards this mid lane. Very early cleanse coming out from Perks to try and remove the CC, but the follow-up chain CC from the LeBlanc and the Nautilus was more than enough, and you can see Alphari really winning out on this 2 versus 1 here, and he's just buying time for Nukeduck to join the fray. He flashes out of the way of that second proc of the Q from Wonder, and then he turns his attention over to Jankos. The ultimate proc into the Ignite with the Q is enough to kill the level 4 Jankos, and now this Pantheon, who's been heavily investing in ganks, is falling further and further behind as Origen control the early game.
Camp's actually standing in front of the Dredge line there. He's going to get spat out. Nukeduck has to dodge away because Perks is just around the corner, but here comes Xerxes with the knuckle down, and Caps is very low. Flashes away, but he's dead. Great play from Alphari to come around from the flank, and now Mickey's caught down towards the bottom side of this fight. The Infernal Chains is going to land on Alphari, but with 4 of the G2 players on the top side of the map, Origen don't want any more of it because Upset is just free farming plates in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and another big punish onto Caps. We talked about it a lot in Game 2, and, like, they're really punishing this aggressive style. He thinks that he's safe because Mickey is there, but the moment that Consume is used, you're just easy pickings for the LeBlanc. And they have information that Caps is coming around this corner. He's face-checking this. He's face-checking this. This is definitely not what you should be doing as an AD carry. Wait for Mickey to come. Wait for your support to be there. Yes, he shows up to save the day, and yes, they get a kill, but that's a kill onto Destiny. Meanwhile, Origen is picking up kills onto their LeBlanc. Well, Alfari, rather. The Renekton is getting another kill. Nukeduck is generating a huge amount of pressure. And remember that Origen want to play this 1-3-1 style. They want to open up the map, and they're not slowing down as they look to kill Wonder.
Destiny and Xerxes are this roaming Doom squad right now. Wonder's going to try and trade here in the top lane. Alfari with the Ruthless Predator. There's the Haymaker, and it's another kill for Origen. 4-2 up. 3,000 gold ahead, 9 minutes, or 10 minutes in here, Vedius. Origen are in a very, very strong position.
Now, they have not been able to secure many early objectives. They did lose the first Cloud Drake, and they will lose the Herald, so G2 will be able to trade some objectives back on the map, but this game is heavily in favor of Origen in terms of this early game, and they're setting themselves up nicely because Nukeduck is sitting at 2-0-1. Alfari is sitting at 2-0-1, which means that Origen can just focus on playing the split push style. The carries that need to be strong are in that position, and they want to keep chasing.
Destiny with a flash hook, and here comes the rest of the Goon squad. Xerxes coming in from the top side of it. Jankos trying to do some damage with the spear. There's the Chain of Corruption used as well, but Nukeduck's on the chase. They're looking for Caps. He hasn't got flash. He hasn't got a way to get away. And with the chains connecting, Caps underneath his turret will be taken out. Nukeduck just needs one more auto, and he goes down in response. Stayed around perhaps a little bit too long. Destiny trying to get some catfish for dinner as he lands that final anchor, and he picks up his first kill of the game.
So Origen secure themselves another 2 kills. The gold gap closed a little bit because, of course, G2 did get that tower in the bot lane, but Destiny is not slowing down. He has his eyes set on Perks.
There's the Sleepy Trouble bubble, and Perks will be able to dodge away from the dredge line. The shutdown going across towards Caps as Nukeduck fell, of course, is very good for him as he can get up towards that Blade of the Ruined King, currently sitting on the Bilgewater Cutlass and the recurve bow.
You're definitely right, Medic. I think getting those core itemizations is going to be really important for G2, but right now they have to slow the game down because Origen are in full speed, and I was not expecting this level of early games to come out from OG, and a lot of it comes off the back of that mid-tower divers. Alfari has now found Wonder and Caps.
And Jankos as well. Everyone's in the river for a little bit of a party. You can take the Scuttle Crab, but we'll take your life, say G2.
Yeah, and that one was just Alfari thinking, hey, I can punish Wonder here, I can steal a Scuttle Crab. Turns out it was a bait. Heavy investment of G2 into that topside river, all 5 members. And Nukeduck could have pushed in bot lane, but he decided to just let the wave hit the tower. He wants to rotate up to mid, make sure that not many plates are going down in favor of G2 and catch that farm as well. Alfari's TP is on cooldown, and Xerxes here to help cover upset for the time being. But it looks like that a lot of eyes are hovering around this top side of the map. I forget at what time exactly the Rift Herald was secured, but I don't think it's going to be spawning in the immediate future. Just seems that Origen just trying to reclaim some control over the top side of the map.
There's a lot of G2 wards in that river that are starting to be cleared out. You can actually see those zombie wards from Xerxes have popped up in a couple of places, but G2 still have that modicum of vision you need to spot anyone out who's trying to roam up here. Xerxes has been able to get behind Jankos. Caps coming across as well. It's a 3v4 for the moment, as Origen look to see if they can find another avenue of approach, but for the time being, they won't be able to find that fight.
I really like what we're seeing here from Origen, constantly grouping up with the LeBlanc specifically and looking for plays, whether it be dives, whether it be picks, whether it just be any opportunity to try and get more kills and more gold funneled onto these split pushes. They've landed the ultimate onto Destiny.
Destiny's going to pop the stopwatch. Jankos fighting Xerxes down towards the bottom side of this. Upset trying to open up, but Mickey's still very tanky. Perks has the exhaust, so Nukeduck really can't do too much to him. Another spear doesn't quite connect on Xerxes. And G2 are slowly chipping away at the Origen health bars. Not able to get too much out of it. Do want to bring attention to the fact that Caps is 30 CS down on this Varus. Upset has managed to farm up pretty effectively, but those 3 kills is definitely going to mitigate some of that gold gap from the CS.
And you talked about the shutdown as well, Medic. That was also
Perks. Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, and the exhaust comes down as well. It saw Perks jumping forward underneath the tower, and as soon as Nukeduck goes forward with the Ethereal Chains, I wonder if Perks has overstepped, but he was able to survive.
Nuke also had very little mana, so I think he was only going to be able to land a single combo there. Perk's going to hold mid-prior with Caps. He's overextended here, but he's not going to get hooked by the Nautilus. Alright, so a bit of a dangerous positioning once again. I feel like it's becoming a theme that we're seeing from Caps this series, just stepping where no man should really stand, especially in the position that he is playing. Now again, he shouldn't be the one face-checking this. He's going to clear that vision, but he does have the KêNH nearby to keep him safe. And now G2 setting up for the Drake. Origen, they should be feeling pretty confident about this right now. We can see that Nuke is actually going up towards the top side, so it looks like they don't want to fight it right now. Instead, their priority is getting those level 11s on their split pusher, making sure that they get more items in their back pocket. You can see Alphari hasn't quite yet completed the Blade of the Ruined King, because he did go for that very early... Executioner's calling. Yeah, I kept wanting to call it Avarice Blade, and I just couldn't remember the other name. Always. So yeah, it looks like for the time being, they don't want to take the gamble. They recognize with Blade completed, with Jankos playing the Pantheon, it's much better to actually just go for the trade. But G2 want to try and keep this trade going. They're actually threatening that tier 2 in the bot, and now I want to see OG make that Rift Herald play happen so that they can convert even this investment into perhaps the mid lane tower in their favor.
Yeah, it looks like that's what Xerxes started up by himself. Upset's just going to catch the wave in the mid lane as the dragon goes down. Second of the game, that's the mountain. Soul of the game is going to be Infernal Vedius. As G2 already have 2 dragons in their back pocket. Rift Herald was secured, and it looks like Xerxes is positioning to place it down mid. He'll put it down, and this should just be Ignite used in the mid lane, but this will be the tower falling, I believe, to this Rift Herald charge.
Yep. I'm actually, I don't think anyone's going to get the gold. Wonder coming in from the flank will force Origen to disengage, but overall, a very even trade across the board. The lane in the bot lane has become a lot longer, which is dangerous for Alphari, because now, if G2 just get a bit of deep vision into the bot side jungle, his ability to split push naturally becomes a lot harder, and you can see this vision has already been invested from G2, and that's why Alphari is very hesitant to go much further. He recognizes his entire team's in the top side of the map. He can't really see anything in his own half of the jungle or the river, so even if he might be strong enough to dual Wonder, he's recognizing, okay, this isn't my area of the map, and Cap should be thinking the same thing, but Mickey is in the vicinity looking to protect it.
Xerxes looking for that face breaker. Teleport coming in from Origen. They're looking for this fight as the showstopper comes out. Caps jumped on, but the exhaust on Nuke is quite effective. Alphari jumping onto Caps, Mickey with the Devour, and here come the rest of G2 looking for this Barney, looking for a trade in the top lane, but Nuke already killed Caps, and Mickey's going to force to the bullet time as well. Jankos getting away just about, but Perks is now the one who is the target of Origen's affections. Perks still has the flash. Destiny still will have the hook in just a second. Perks is going to have to flash this. You have to feel, there's the hook, there's the flash, Perks gets away.
Really good fight here from Origen, things kicking off much earlier compared to last game, and it was just a big punish onto Caps, which turned into a punish onto Mickey, because Caps is pushing out that wave, and he thinks that he's safe because, again, he knows where Mickey is. And this is something that we consistently see from Caps. Again, he thinks he's safe. He doesn't realize that the rest of Origen is looking to make this collapse happen, but it's Mickey that initially gets collapsed on. Now, the split decision here is Nuke wants to disengage, but Xerxes recognizes that he can't disengage, so he has to commit to the fight, and that's why he calls the TP in from Alphari. Initially, this is a 4 versus 3, but Alphari is just tanking up so much of the damage that it buys enough time for Destiny and Upset to join the fight, and that's where they're able to turn it in their favor, because the G2 bot lane has taken too much damage. Now we see another skirmish as we're entering the bot side of the river. No Drake is going to be spawning anytime soon, but G2 is getting bullied out in this early game. Origen have a firm control.
3,000 gold lead for Origen. They're going to get a tower as well. Spread that to about 3.5. Wonder's looking for a trade in the top lane. Still sitting about 25, 26 CS behind. That bot lane CS has, the discrepancy has spread to about 40 or 35 or so. You can see that actually not reflected in the gold because, as we said, Caps has picked up the shutdown and those extra kills. So he's about 600 gold ahead. Top lane is a 2,000 gold lead for Alphari, though, Vedius.
And look at the mid lane as well, that 1,500 gold gap. It's crazy. Origen, again, like, we're going to keep saying it because they are set up to play the split push. We're going to see Nuke in one lane, we're going to see Alphari in the other. They have to be cautious of the fact that their teleports are down right now, but the same can be said for G2. So Origen, they feel very comfortable. They know that no one can win them in these side lanes, or beat them rather, and so they can just keep generating this pressure, and then they collapse. That's the goal. So if we look at the state of the map right now, you can see G2 have multiple members on the bot side. So what happens? Alphari Alfari pushes up top, he then rotates down to join his team, and then G2's forced to try and catch these sideways. And if someone like Perks oversteps, that's when Nukeduck comes out of the brushes and looks to find that kill. So they're going to keep using this information to get deeper and deeper vision down, and they're going to use that as an opportunity to maybe catch someone in a rotation, maybe catch someone trying to farm in a side lane, or maybe even force a fight in the mid lane with a numbers advantage. Ultimately, Origen have a lot of options what they can do with this pressure on the side lane, but G2's kind of forced to play back, play defensively, and kind of play Origen's game for the next few minutes.
Origen going to clear out the vision down towards the bottom side. Perks trying to land the sleepy trouble bubble onto Destiny, can't quite connect, and now Destiny has a good flank position off. Alfari coming in, Xerxes with the Predator, looking for the hunt, looking for the chase, can't quite find it. And G2, as you can see, they're making forays, they're looking for that pick, they're looking for a catch. Origen are quick to react, and as soon as Origen numbers get into the fight, G2 just swiftly back away.
Yep, and now Origen is in control of the Infernal Drake. G2, as we mentioned, just forced to play on the defense. With the Zoe, they do have the ability to try and catch people themselves. Their single target damage is incredibly strong. But the problem with this comp is that because of how much early game power it does have, it is harder for them to fight later on to the game. A lot of the responsibility will fall on the amount of damage that can come out from Perks in the late game, and Caps as a primary carry, similar to what we saw in the last game. But they don't have that same scaling that they had, so the amount of control Origen has, the chance of a comeback is much lower.
Oh, Mickey's all by himself here. He's going to have the thick skin, but he's going to get shredded apart by Origen. And now that Infernal Dragon is very much on the menu. G2 will try and get mid control. They do have 4 players around here, but as soon as Origen come a knocking, G2 will have to retreat. You can see the slow on Xerxes there, just trying to stop him from getting here too quickly, but Origen are in commanding position in this game. Wonder actually gonna like semi-proxy away.
So he's actually being super obnoxious here because OG want to do the Drake, but G2 are trying to trade that Drake for a mid-tier 1. So Wonder, by taking this wave, makes it harder for OG to actually defend this tower, and it draws their pressure away while Alfari is soloing the Drake. And look, someone's getting caught out.
Chain of Corruption used on Destiny alongside the Sleepy Trouble Bubble means that's one dead. Wonder was able to escape having to burn his flash and the World Ender, but the Dragon is taken just by Alfari. The chase is on for G2. Perks trying to find the connections, trying to find his mark, can't quite land it onto Nukeduck, does land the sleep though onto Alfari, and there's no tower here, remember, the Paddle Star coming back from Perks, hits onto Alfari, just at the edge of the hitbox, and Alfari will go down. That Crocodile is now a handbag for someone, as G2 find 2 picks and are able to force Origen out of their jungle.
Such a clever play from Wonder. The fact that he went behind and drew tower aggro, he kind of played on the minds of Origen, where he knew what they wanted to do, but Origen got too greedy. They wanted their mid lane tower and they wanted the Drake, but the reality is they couldn't have both. They got so distracted by what Wonder was doing that they end up losing the mid tier 1, and they end up losing, I think it was 2 kills off the back of that as well. So they give G2 that small edge back. They give them a little bit more map control. And while Origen do secure their first Drake of the game, G2 are demonstrating how obnoxious they can be even when at a deficit.
Yeah, we've talked about it so many times. Like Perks last year when they were playing up against Fnatic said, like, yes, we might lose the game, but let's make them sweat for it. And that just seems to be the G2 mentality. It's like, we're just going to make it as hard as possible to beat us whenever we can. And right now, Origen, although they are in the driver's seat of the game, well, across the last 3 games, they've noticed it's pretty difficult to beat G2. You have to make the most of every single opportunity. But I do think that
Origen have progressively gotten better as the series have gone on. I think it was a similar story when they played against a Fnatic as well, where in Game 3 is where they were able to get that big win. It was hard fought for sure, but they were able to secure it. And I think we're now starting to see that here, where Origen, they had a very confident early game. It seemed that they tracked and read what G2 wanted to do very well, and they punished it, while also being incredibly aggressive themselves. A lot of the credit needs to go to Destiny. The way in which he moved around the map, and the way in which he worked with Xerxes, opened up the options for Nukeduck to start roaming around and getting advantages. But now the game has kind of slowed down, and Origen can't afford for that to happen. I think that they need to keep attacking these side lanes, they need to keep getting control, and they need to keep looking for picks, because if they don't get that deep vision in the enemy jungle, it's going to be harder for their comp to be able to come into fruition. And G2 can just continue to ramp up, continue to scale, and rely on the late game power of things like Zoe and Varus to try and bring them back into the game later on.
I was wondering there if Caps would make his traditional error of overstepping as an AD carry. Instead, Nuke Duck backed away, knowing that Iankos and Mickey were coming up through the river, so Caps was able to farm the wave pretty safely. He's finished his Ginsus alongside his Blade of the Ruined King. The Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver complete on upset, though, so if that bullet time comes off, if a few auto attacks come off from the Misfortune, the G2 health bars are going to get shredded pretty quickly. 1v1 in the bottom lane. Alphari winning out early on. The Blade of the Ruined King coming out as well, and Wonder really doesn't have anywhere to go. The Infernal Chains isn't going to connect. Wonder will dash across the wall, but Alphari's on the chase. That Dominus is ticking Wonder down. Alphari slices and dices up Wonder.
And that's exactly what you want to see. Alphari smashing Wonder in a side lane. We talked about how this Aatrox is not going to be able to match this Renekton in the 1v1, especially with the Blade of the Ruined King and Black Cleaver completed. And while it did cost Alphari his flash, he's now generating so much pressure in this bot lane. But Origen need to do something with it. They need to get deep vision. They need to get control over something. And right now, they're not converting it into anything. So Alphari's flash may end up just going to waste here, as Origen are not really, like, they do have pretty solid vision. I guess they can use this as an opportunity to reset and pick up some more control wards, and then I kind of want to see them getting deeper vision medic. I want to see them investing more into forcing G2 to play more defensively, because G2 have a little bit too much freedom right now, considering the deficit that they're at.
I wonder, like, Origen tend to be a team that have, it feels like they have a textbook of how they're going to play League. And they can turn back towards the Baron.
And we finally get to see the play that we've been talking about for so long. Origen actually get deep into the jungle of G2. They find a massive pick onto Perks, and now they'll be able to convert this into a Baron. There's no minion waves that G2 can look to punish. The best they can get is stealing away. Origen now has a firm grasp over this game. Fantastic pick on the side of OG, and now G2 is down a Baron.
Origen with a superb pick, because it all started with Perks chunking Nukeduck out.
Yeah, so we can see here, flash in from Destiny. He's not able to land the hook, but he trades the flash. He then throws the ultimate out as Perks tries to re-engage, which then costs him so much because Mickey is on the front line, does have the flash available, but he's sitting inside this bullet time, which ends up just obliterating him, perhaps deciding not worth using the flash. Caps ends up getting dropped because of a great flank from Alphari, and then OG are able to just pick apart G2. So now with the Baron buff, they want to keep this pressure up. They want to be attacking all 3 lanes. And Upset needs to be careful sitting in the mid lane alone. There is the risk of a flank, but he's level 16 medic. He has been farming up a storm, and while yes, Caps has hit 3 items, you can see that Upset is the same. He is very strong, and is going to be one of the primary carries for Origen as they now look to break into the base of G2.
And Origen have set up this 1-3-1 with Alphari being stronger than Wonder, with Nukeduck being stronger than Perks in the pure 1v1s. You can see what Origen are trying to do. Create pressure in 3 different lanes and force G2 to split across the map. But right now, it's Perks matching Alphari in the top lane. Alphari does have some magic resist, so should be able to mitigate some of the damage that comes out from Perks. Whereas Nukeduck's actually free just to auto-attack on this turret. G2 not defending 3 lanes at the moment, only going for 2.
I mean, I like what OG's doing, splitting apart the map. G2 is being spread thin, which their comp is not optimized for. Zoe doesn't have the greatest wave clear, especially against Baron. When she can freely kind of hit these minions when she has time to set up her Pal Stars, then yes, she can push these waves. But against these Baron-empowered minions, which have that extra bit of magic resistance, like she doesn't have the same effective wave clear. You're very reliant on the Varus. As you can see, Perks actually gets chunked out, and the minions are just bullying him back right now as G2 is being forced further and further back into their base.
Caps clears out a wave in the bottom lane. Now it's going to join the party as the bullet time comes out from Upset. Clears out all of the minions that were pushing up. Tries to get some damage onto Perks as well as he's down, limping back towards the fountain. That's 3 towers for Origen as they take all of those tier 2s. A 6,000 gold lead for them now as they are trying to strike back against G2 in this elimination series. Of course, they have to win the next 3 in a row, have to do the full reverse sweep if they're going to do it. But Origen, this would be a great first step for you. The dredge line actually connects onto Caps there. Mickey eats him up, gobbles him up, spits him out. Xerxes almost falls and will go down to those final auto attacks coming out from Caps. And now Destiny is the next target. The Sleepy Trouble Bob was going to land, but an immediate QSS. Still, he's locked up in the middle of 5 members of G2, and that's another one down. Upset has the flash, but here comes the Abyssal Voyage. They're trying to flank him. Jankos, no flash on him. Gonna pop the ultimate, coming in with the Grand Starfall. Nukeduck there, though, with a good chain will stop Jankos in his tracks, and G2 will just have to settle for 2 kills.
This is such a massive punish from the side of G2
Infernal,
because it's going to give them the Infernal Soul, and again, just a small mistake from Origen is going to quickly snowball in the favor of G2. The gold gap is still massive. This game is not over just yet for Origen, but the game suddenly got a lot harder, and I think like in that moment, Origen should have tried to just split the map. They should have just tried to attack the side lanes. You can see that right now they're playing across 3 lanes, and OG, I think they tried to force a dive in the situation because they land a hook when the focus should just be the tower. They don't need to fight right now, and G2 is quick to punish the mistake. I think at this point though, Alphari and Nukeduck should just be attacking the side lanes. Forget mid lane, try and break into the base, try and secure an inhibitor, but instead they try to react, they try and reclaim, maybe find a pick, maybe turn something back in their favor. But they can't. G2 just continues the chase. They walk straight towards the dragon, and they secure themselves the final Dragon Soul.
And I wonder how much that Infernal Soul will do for G2. Very powerful on Varus, very powerful on Zoe, but Origen are still in the lead. It's still a 5,000 gold lead here, Vedius. Morello Nomicon finished on Nukeduck. No Rabadons yet for Perks.
Yeah, let's actually swap over to the gold, because the amount of items that Caps has is just very surprising to me. He's actually even with Upset, even though he's 2 levels down and he's 50 CS behind, like, he has been picking up a huge amount. It must have been from some of the shutdowns that he's gotten in this game, on top of the fact that, like, I don't think G2's had a Baron this game, right?
No.
Yeah, so like, I'm very surprised by where he's been able to successfully pick up all this gold from. It may have even been from a lot of jungle camps. Regardless, he is very strong. He's even with Upset right now, even though he is 2 levels down. Of course, the big discrepancy is between the top laners and the mid laners, and that's what OG need to keep relying on. Their split pushes, their side lane threat, because in terms of the 5v5, it is dangerous, especially if G2 is able to find a big chunk of damage onto a single target, land that chain of corruption onto someone and just immediately blow them up before Origen can respond. But you can see Origen now collapse. In priority, they want to threaten these towers. They want the mid-wave control.
We'll give Origen the opportunity to flank, though. Double control ward in that top side mid bush, I guess is how you will refer to it. Perks stepping forward. Destiny, Alphari have a good position. Xerxes down to half HP, but Alphari could look for the chase here as that mid lane tower goes low. Nuke Duck going in. Jankos going to jump on him. Perks is the target. Caps with the Dredge line going to get caught out as well. Nuke Duck able to dodge away, and Perks is down to half HP. Nuke Duck on the back line is going to put the damage down onto Perks. His upset now opens up onto Mickey. Mickey's down. Caps is low. Everyone with ticking health bars on the side of G2. Destiny's the only one to fall. Perks looking for the jump in with a paddle stop, but can't quite land it. G2 needs to get out. They need to get back to their base, and they need to heal up because Origen are marching down the mid lane.
Yeah,
Nuke
even
Duck.
though Destiny dies.
Blast cone.
Ooh, good blast cone there from G2. They're on the run right now. Origen is looking to chase Nuke Duck.
Cap's going to try and trade it. He can't do it. Alphari flashing forward, looking for the slice and dice. Can't quite land it, but Alphari should be able to get one more auto attack in here. Cap's trying to heal up as much as he can, but with the Cold Meek, Alphari will take the shutdown. And Destiny back up in 8 seconds, still 50 before Caps returns to the Rift.
Well, let's see what OG can get off the back of this, because while it is a great team fight, they need to convert it into something. But there's nothing on the map for them to convert it for. They weren't playing towards the Baron side. I think they got a little too greedy for the kills. And now they're just going to have to reset. So again, like they relieve the pressure from G2 that they were pushing in mid lane. They find another good fight. And they go to show that in a straight up 5v5, G2 isn't quite a match for them, especially if Nuke Duck can find another great flank like that. But they need to convert it into something significant. If they don't take an inhibitor down, if they can't get another Baron, G2 is still very in this game, and they're just going to be given another opportunity to team fight. But with Cap still dead, they have the right set on the Baron. Let's see if Jankos can get the steal.
Control ward means that G2 know this is happening. Jankos doesn't have flash, doesn't have a blast cone, doesn't have a way into this fight. Caps is going to be gobbled up and eaten with the Abyssal Voyage to come into this fight. Xerxes down to half HP. Here comes the Abyssal Voyage, but Wonder's already stepped forward. There's the bullet time as well. I believe it actually stole away the red buff. No, Caps has got it. And the Baron has been stopped. G2 still pressing forward. They forced Origen away from the Baron, but will they do it themselves?
Wonder does have teleport.
Oh, they're not going to do it.
Okay. I mean, they could have considered it because Xerxes was quite low, but with Alphari still having the teleport, of course, it's always going to be a risk. But you can see how Origen still very afraid of the pokes that comes out from someone like Perks. He's now level 17 with the death cap all completed. The damage from him is nothing to laugh at, especially when you stack that with the Infernal Soul too. G2 do have a lot of damage, and that gold gap is slowly starting to get closer and closer, and it's slowly starting to mean less and less. And I think Caps will be working towards the GA next. Could, of course, be the Bloodthirster as well. But G2 still staying relevant in this game. OG in a very strong position, still have primary control. Elder is going to be spawning in about a minute's time. Let's see how things play out as both teams starting to group a lot more now.
Looks like it's going to be full 5v5s from here on out. Nuke Duck perhaps looking for Wonder on the backside of this, but Jankos is there to act as a bodyguard. Destiny stepping forward. There's the hook onto Mickey. Destiny pops the gargoyles. He's already down. He's already dead. Sleepy Trouble Bob was going to land on Xerxes as well, but he uses the showstopper. Mickey's going to fall as well, and the bullet time opens up. Caps is all by himself. Doesn't have Mickey to protect him, and Alphari takes the double. 7-3-3 now on this crocodile. And Origen will turn towards the Baron. Jankos does have the ult to get back towards this. Wonder, as you said, with the teleport, can rejoin the fray if he needs to, but at the moment, Alphari is doing absolute work in these teamfights. Perks with the paddle start, Upset stepping forward towards him. Origen has started up the Baron. Jankos is on his way to join the fray.
Remember, Jankos also has the ultimate. That's how he can get into the pit, and Perks gets collapsed on.
Oh, Perks jumps forward, dashes back straight into his death, and now Wonder's taken out for the double kill. Origen, this should be an easy enough Baron for them. They can take the Elder off the back of it too.
They played it slow, they took their time. Yes, they got forced off the Baron quite a few times, but finally it all comes together for Origen. Perks oversteps just once, and that's enough for both Alphari and Nukeduck to dive on top of him and secure the Baron buff. This will, of course, mean that Destiny also gets it, and he's in a position to run straight towards the Elder, which means that G2 cannot steal this one away. Quick reset coming out from Xerxes. He's going to spend his gold as Mickey, he looked like he's going to get collapsed.
He's got flash, but is he actually going to be able to get away from this? Because Destiny with the depth charge into Dredgeline connects. And Mickey falls once again. It's his 7th death of the game, and I think Origen have found a winning formula. Of the 20 kills in this game, 13 of them have been towards that bottom lane. G2, well, Caps and Mickey having a struggle of a match, and Origen finding the place that they want to target.
I mean, the protection isn't there for Caps like it was in Game 2. This time, as long as the Tahm Kench is gone, the AD carry is not going to get the same peel from a Zillion and a Nico in this game, and OG, like, they have their eyes set on Caps. It's like vengeance, right? After last game, after what he did on the Aphelios, they said, okay, enough of this, and Alphari has been consistently diving on top of him in every single fight. Upset is yet to be killed, and no one can really dive on top of him or really threaten him in any of these exchanges. Now that Origen have the Elder, the Baron, surely there is no way that they can lose this game. They are in prime position to bring us to a Game 4.
Looking for the push in the mid lane. Alphari isn't here, but does have the teleport. Yanko's going to get locked up with the chains. Actually just able to get away, but Caps is already chunked down below half HP, or just thereabouts. Perks has the redemption, but almost gets taken out on the backswing. Bullet time coming out as well, and Nukeduck just kills Perks with the help of Upset. And now with the teleport coming in, Origen are looking to take their first game in this series. Dredgeline just about goes wide, but there's the depth charge. Alphari fighting against 3 up towards the top side. Caps cleanses, QSS's tries to get away, but there's no escaping Nukeduck when he is playing this LeBlanc. It's a double for him, 2 for Upset, and Origen will get their first game in this series.
The do-or-die match backs against the wall. Origen are able to come back into this series, and in a convincing fashion as well. The early game was clean. They were able to punish a lot of the plays that G2 wanted to make, and I love that rotation to the mid lane to kill Perks, to open up the map for Nukeduck. He then had the freedom to roam, and what does he do? Immediately goes top lane, immediately